welcome to the first episode of Keys to Consciousness. I'm one of your hosts, Don.
And I'm Chris, the other host.
And together we brought this podcast together so we can pretty much help heal the wounds that plague our society. We want to use this particular platform to speak about the discrepancies and the things that hurt our community, and not just the things that hurt our community, but ways in which that we can do to better our community. I think that one of the best things is that we first have to recognize what it is that where the problem is, right. And then once we recognize the problem, then it's up to us to figure out how we can change it.
Yeah, I guess to piggyback off what bro's saying, to that same notion, I kind of think of it of a person having high blood pressure. You think of the fact that you find out you got high blood pressure, it's a shock to the system. But with that being said, most people go to the doctor or they go to somebody that specializes in dealing with high blood pressure, and they kind of first find out what's plaguing them, what's impacting them from having this high blood pressure. And once you work in conjunction with your practitioner, whoever you're working with, to help you to get your blood pressure low, you're doing everything in your ability to try to find out what's plaguing me, what keeps me going back to the same situation. It's no different than what's impacting us in the community today. So we got to find out and expose and bring some of those wounds to the table to say, hey, this is not good for us, and just being honest, having an open mind, being able to dialogue about this and not be so offended. And with all that being said, you saying, okay, why are me and my brother doing this? For one, we're doing this because we want other like-minded people to jump on board.
Yes.
See where they can help. We want to start a grassroots organization, not just to sit here and bash people and say, hey, you dumb, you're not doing this right. But let's get like-minded people on here that want to build. Like and subscribe, jump on board with us. We want to build. We're going to start off small, whether it's just us, building a community garden where we can actually, give back to the community, give food out, help the younger kids in school with some give backs, and my brother can even talk about that. So just when you jump back in, just know that we want like-minded people. You can agree to disagree, but we here to try to expose and bring stuff to light and build. The biggest thing here is build and creating a grassroots organization. So again, like and subscribe and jump on board with us.
And to expand also, please feel free to call in. The number is 515-599-1687. Again, that's 515-599-1687. Now, please be respectful. This is a podcast. This is something that we doing to try to help our community. We don't need negative energy and vibes. If you have something productive to say, constructive to say, then please feel free. We may not agree. We may agree. You never know. The thing is that it's not about agreeing or disagreeing. It's coming to a common ground for the better of our community. Right. It's not just about us. It's not just about me. It's not just about my brother Kay. It's not just about everyone else. It's about everyone as a collective whole. So, I guess. You ready to get this going?
No further ado.
Yeah.
Jump into the list section. Come on, let's get it.
All right. This is the episode 1.
Look at him and tell him, walk it out.
Hey, now walk it out. 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 Now walk it out.
Now wait a minute. Let's just take a look at this real quick. Look at the question is the subtitle up there says, is this a church or is it a club? Please be honest with yourself.
DJ walk it out. Walk it out. DJ Southside walk it out. We ain't walk it out. Northside walk it out. Here we go. Now walk it out. 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 Now Westside walk it out. Southside walk it out. Eastside walk it out. Northside walk it out.
Y'all keep it sanctified. I need you to walk it out. Come on.
All right, watch this. I tell you why I hadn't come in. You ain't giving the blessing nothing to work with. You ain't giving the blessing nothing to multiply. You sitting up here talking about, oh Lord, I need $100,000. Hey, by next week, Oh, I felt 50,000, right? Yeah, there go 30. It's not gonna happen. It's not. Listen, I hate to disappoint you, but listen, folks. Everything else is a fantasy. It's not falling out of heaven. God's not raining money out of heaven. It's not gonna happen. Because I've heard people say it's not about money. It's about peace, and it's about joy, and it's about love. It's about money. I'm already wealthy. I'm loaded. I got more than enough. I'm a blessed man.
I be out walk on this money. Woo! 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 Get some anointing. You put something up here. Woo! Put this anointing on it. Or put this anointing on it. I tell you what, you put something up here. I'm put this anointing on this money, man. Woo!
Wow. Okay.
That's a lot to digest. So, for anybody that's watching this, it's a lot to digest. I mean, me and bro gonna talk about it, but on a serious note, these are some statistics that kind of make you go, Annually, the black church alone is harvesting in $11 billion.
With a B. Yeah.
$11 billion. It kind of makes you think, what's the issue here? And this may go over some folks' head. If the church, the black church, I'm not talking about other churches, the black church is bringing in $11 billion a year, where might the disconnect be? Why is it that we don't see churches that are backing banks to help young minority companies up and running, get started? Where's the funding? Where is it that there is not any schools around here specifically that cater to the black community when the church is bringing in $11 billion? Why is it that we don't even have supermarkets in our neighborhoods when the church is bringing in $11 billion with the B annually? And we will even talk, I know bro gonna talk about it, we ain't even talking about on actually weekly basis. I think they said statistically, if the church has 500 members per se, that they bring in at least close to $2 million
Per week.
per week. So that's a problem in itself. And I don't know if anybody else see it. They may say, well, you know, the church needs the money. How much other money does the church need? To be totally transparent with you guys, I see like a disconnect. And I don't want to go back too far, but we go back to the civil rights movement with Martin Luther King. It seems to me, when he was assassinated and killed, the church went from actually being an establishment where they went out in the community, did things in the community, made things happen in the community, did their, went up against evil, went against white supremacy, went against all these things. Now, it seems like we just cater to whoever, again, going back to our title, is pimping and pandering within the church and the community. What you got to say about that, bro?
I mean, to me, it's just where you say what the question was. Where is the disconnect? To me, the disconnect is there are actually multiple disconnects. For one, misuse of funds. For two, misuse of the actual doctrine. You know what I'm saying? The teaching that they are teaching. They're teaching people not the true gospel, but like that feel good message, that old prosperity, what they call it, the prosperity message.
Right.
You know, where it's all about, like he said, I'm already rich. I'm a blessed man. Yeah, okay, if that's what you say or whatever. So if you're a blessed man, why would you use your blessedness to mischieve or to misuse the next person, and basically pandering them? You know what I'm saying? You using a person's weaknesses or their vices, and a vice of the weak or vice doesn't necessarily have to be like a drug or something like that. It could be something that you particularly believe in and that you are ignorant to. Or, you know what I'm saying? You're actually ignorant to the true meaning of what it is that you're doing. It to me is just, and I'm speaking from a person that was once in that, indoctrinated into that situation. I won't say any church's name or anything like that. But at one point in time, I was the puppet ministry, the puppet ministry director for a church, which means that I use puppets to preach the gospel. And it just happened not really all of a sudden, because it was things that I would that I have been just seeing that I wasn't really comfortable with, And a lot of times, when you just sitting out there in the pews, you don't really see the negative energy and the negative stuff that goes on behind the pulpit. You know what I'm saying? But once you actually in a place of, where you actually see the behind the scenes, it's not really, you know what I'm saying? For me, it didn't feed my spirit. So once I came to the realization that the things that I was that I was teaching, I honestly didn't believe in. I don't believe in the church. I mean, in the Christmas stuff. I don't believe in Easter and all this. I don't believe in that. But I was using my gift of knowledge and to teach something that I did not believe to people that were impressionable. And the children are our future. If we continuously teaching them this misguided doctrine, then how can we ever expect to for our children and our children's children to elevate? If we're continuing on indoctrinating them into the same stuff that we were indoctrinated in, and we know that it's toxic. You know what I'm saying? We know these things for a fact. We just choose most of us just choose to be. What is that phrase? Ignorance is bliss. You know what I'm saying? And some of us choose to be ignorant. And no matter how many times you've been told, no matter how many times you've been shown, a lot of us just choose to be ignorant on certain situations. And for me, I just couldn't do it anymore.
I guess the kind of even to jump into what you're saying, you got to think there's a benefit to keeping people tied into this whole you're going to get your reward in the afterlife. Think about this, and this goes for anybody that's watching this. You think about this. You going to church on Sunday and you getting this, this sermon about how things will get better for you. Just keep the faith and all that. But Monday through Saturday, you getting whooped. What I mean by whooped, it could be through your job. It could be your kids not having, places to go to, not having, the resources to be able to buy food for your whole family, and where's the support there? Like I said, we keep saying this and harping on this, but if the church is bringing in this type of money, there should be at least 1 or 2 supermarkets in the area for people in that community. There should at least be some type of bank institution in that community. There should at least be some type of after-school programs, facility for kids to go to. Think about, you look around, I'm just saying in Missouri, in our community, there isn't really a lot of places for our kids to go. They're just stuck. So they out here trying to figure it out. We already got an issue with crime here. We already got an issue with a lot of outside influences impacting, and the church is never relevant in most of these situations. And let me put a caveat on. There are some churches out here that are doing some of this stuff.
Kudos.
Right, and there's far and few in between, which is sad when you think about it. Again, we go back to, money. This is money that's not being taxed. This is money that they can utilize to help spread wealth and assist everybody in the neighborhood, and it's just not happening. So when they keep preaching this, in the afterlife, this is gonna happen. Keep the faith. This and this and this. Monday through Saturday is a beat down, and most people feel that. And you say, okay, you guys just saying this. Where's the proof? The proof is in the pudding. You look at it now. The attendance rates in the black church. A lot of the younger youth now. You guys can look this up on Pew's report. A lot of the youth now, the generations behind us, they're not going to your brick and mortar black establishment anymore. They're going to multicultural churches where it may be a white pastor or somebody else is leading, because they're even to the point where they're losing faith and they don't even believe in what's being pushed out here. And whether we want to accept it or not, a lot of this is just based on the fact that we are being pimped and we are being painted on a level from our own church, and nobody's saying anything. But it's like business as usual. And typically, when somebody do speak up and say something about it, you're casted as being a hater. Yeah. You cast as being somebody that just want to, spew negative stuff about the church. It's not even about that. And that's why we said in the beginning, we want other like-minded people to jump on board and say, hey, man, where can we help out? We give 100 people to jump on board and put something together, say we're going to start with something small and build from. That's going to have a bigger impact than what's going on in most churches now. Yep. What do we have to show for anything? Can you I got a question for you. What have you seen take place in from the black churches that's impacted you? That's even from you growing up.
From you say, what have I taken out of what?
No, what is the church done that's impacted you in a positive way?
In a positive way,
and that you've seen that's benefited our community.
The churches nowadays. It's been a while since I've actually been to a church, been inside a church as far as brick and mortar. But when I was there, it was little to nothing, because the reason why I say that is because when you go there, a lot of times you are talked about, if you don't have the right clothes on, or if you don't look a particular way, that people, and these are the same people that are supposed to be Christ-like, And that's another reason why I think a lot of the younger generation are turned away from the black churches now, is because of that. When you have to deal with segregation and segregation and separatism out in the world, the church is supposed to be a place of refuge. That's what it, from my understanding, was supposed to be a place of refuge where you come, where no matter where it was or whatever was going outside in the world, you could step into this particular building or whatever, and you were supposed to feel safe, comfortable. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
able to, you know what I'm saying, relieve, you know what I'm saying, the stresses of life. It's really not like that anymore because, well, especially I'm just saying from my perception, is that it's not like that. You know, you go in there, people looking at you strange, especially if you in a new church. You know what I'm saying? And everybody know everybody. They look at you like you crazy, like you stole something. You know, it's terrible. You know, because where do we get that? Where do we get that peace of mind? Where can we go to get that peace of mind?
Yeah.
You know, it's. Yeah. And then when you do happen to go to the church, you wind up, they pass the collection plate around 700 times. You know what I'm saying? Then, you know, the whole sermon is about money. Ha! God said, like, what Creflo say? You want to know why he ain't come in? Why he ain't come in? Because you ain't gave him nothing to bless. What
Right.
you mean?
Man.
What do you mean? The faith, you supposed to have, the faith is something, that's what you're supposed to use, not your cash, not your money. You know, they have twisted. Right, right. You know, dance on that money. You
It's
know,
crazy. And then you, to your point, you look at the first clip. Well, you know, like you were just saying, is this an actual church? Is this an actual club?
Right.
I mean, literally, I would, you know, almost average it out to being like the old model or something.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? It's just like, you got all these people in here
walking it out.
What does they got to do with God and church and helping
Better
out
the
the
community.
community?
Yeah.
And that's the part for me that's like frustrating because again,
That's
that's another
pimping
level of pimping and pandering because you just out here making people feel good. It's no different than them going to try to release some steam during the week on the weekend. What do people do? They go out to the club,
Yep.
have them some drinks. The only thing that was missing in that scenario was the alcohol.
And the stripper pole.
But it said that to your point, yeah, the only thing was missing was the alcohol, the stripper pole. But with that being said, for all intents and purposes, that was a club. I wouldn't be able to distinguish the two.
Well, I mean, I agree. Well, then again, you know what, bro? Now that I think about it, they do have that. They do have alcohol.
Word.
That Jesus Jew.
Well, okay. Well, I mean, they do.
That's the only thing that was missing was the stripper pole.
It was a time for communion, I guess.
Yeah.
So I mean, it said on the I mean, we laughing about it because sometimes you really gotta laugh to
keep from crying.
keep from crying because it just show you the debauchery and show you on so many levels that games are being played with us, and this is not the time to be playing games. You know, black people are really in a position where we have to make some changes, and people got to be mature enough to say, hey, you know what? I may not agree with what these two brothers are saying, but the difference is we want to build, and that's the thing I'm going to keep saying. We want to build. We want to grow a grassroots organization where we're giving back to the community, where we can get into a situation if somebody's like low on their rent. We got enough resources to help those individuals, help feed the homeless. But you know, for the most part, you got your churches here and there that's doing something, but we need a group effort. We need to start setting this as a mind frame and as instruction for all of us to start doing, bro.
Something that I also noticed too is that the church is supposed to help the community, not just its congregation.
Facts.
You know, so and something that I saw is that like when people needed help, a lot of times they couldn't go to the church, you know, and be like, you know, or if they did go to the church, then the bookie would, what's your name? And it seemed like we haven't seen any tides from you in about 2-3 months, and you know, but they don't know your situation, you know, but all they looking at it, right? They just all they looking at is they going by the numbers, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So if you ain't put in, you can't get nothing out, basically, you know what I'm saying? And then for some that have been paying, you know what I'm saying, for 10, 20, 30 years and continue, you know, constantly paying, then something all of a sudden goes wrong. The church say, "Oh, we gonna pray for Sister Williams, or we gonna pray that she gets her get a new job." And okay, well, praying is fine.
Right.
But with that being said, Sister Williams been giving $200 or giving $100 every week for the last 30 years. You know what I'm saying? And now all of a sudden, because she's in a bad situation, now we gonna pray for her.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
was you praying for her when she was giving that breaking bread with you every week? You know, I mean, Dad, come on. It's like we have to step away from the mind control. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Say it
literally,
again. Get away from what?
the mind control. That's exactly what it is. Whether it be the government, whether it be the churches, whether it be a lot of this ignorant stuff that we're being told. Period. We have to get out of that mind control. Be able to do your own research. Look it up for yourself. My father used to tell me, you know, Lord, no, he moved on, he ascended. He used to tell me, trust nothing, question everything. Question everything. He said, even if it come out of my mouth, question it. Go back and do your research. Don't just take my word for it. You know, knowledge is power.
Right.
And that's something that we all have the opportunity to gain. That we have the opportunity to gain that power. This is the information age. If there's anything that you want to know, you can find it out. You may have to shift through a lot of bull stuff before you actually find the truth. With that being said, anything worth having is worth working for. That's what I was told.
I got a question for you, though. I know you was talking on something that I noticed too is, why do you think, and I'm gonna get your answer on it, but I got a thought as well. But why do you think that the black church at this point is so woman dominated at this point? Why do you think there's such a bigger influence on black women than there's for black men and the youth? Why do you think that?
Well, it's not just in the church as far as that. I believe, well, it's, I want to say this correctly. There's such thing called double minority.
All right.
And black women fit that description. You know, they're woman, supposed to be minority, and they're black, another minority, double minority, correct? And the government gives women a lot of power, you know, hence the Section 8 things and you know, to keep the black man out. The government is one of the biggest right of the you know, pushes of the you know, miseducation
And the destruction of the nuclear black family. But go ahead.
exactly. So as far as with the church, it's a lot of times the women are the one with the money, and it's more women that actually attend church than it is the black men. Most black men either, you know, do something else. A lot of times watch football, basketball, something else.
Right.
Something else. You know what I'm saying? They for anomaly of reasons, it doesn't matter. You know, but more women attend church, and I also believe that a lot of times when they attend church, they look at the pastor as being like the father figure or the husband maybe that they never had or that they want.
Okay.
You know, and I think a lot of the pastors use that to their advantage, and that's how they pimp and pander, you know what I'm saying, and manipulate the black woman into, you know what I'm saying, certain situations. Whether it be
I mean, and if you don't mind me speaking on this, I agree with you 100%. I feel personally as well that to this point, a lot of black women, they're highly educated. You know, they make a lot of money. I think that most average black male make somewhere between 32 to maybe 38,000 a year. Where, you know, a lot of black women that got their degrees is on top of their game and got that entrepreneurial spirit going on. They making money and making moves by themselves in a lot of situations. They're going to like you said, to the church to get that hope, get that. And I feel like you said, the pastor in a lot of terms kind of used that. He knows that as long as he can keep the black woman in bed with the church and with her not having a man or somebody where she can build with and join, a lot of her resources going to the church. Is not always just the financial aspect of it. That's the thing that we also want to clear, because you know we both had, you know, like my mom, you know, love her, no issues there, but we spent so much of our time in the church, and she was married. So just imagine if you know, you got a single mom that got 1 or 2 kids, whatever, and she's putting in anywhere between 8 to 10 hours a week in the church, and also sending out her resources to the church, tithing, the building offering, the benevolent fund, all this other stuff. A lot of her resources being tied up into it. And again, it is to me, it just brings it all full circle yet again. Why is it that the black church is not there to, even in a situation to help that black woman? You know, so I feel like the church could also do a great job of building up and saying, hey, well, there's one thing that you helping us and helping the church, but at the same time, we need to focus on you having a strong, solid structure, having a family plan. You know, why is there a disconnect again, but the black man not wanting to be in there? Because a lot of black men necessarily may not have the funds, but also they see in between the lines. They see the game is being ran 24/7. So, I mean, we know this. If you think about it, Sunday service, again, we're saying every Sunday they're bringing in millions and millions of dollars every Sunday. This is just in the black church.
Yep.
Every Sunday. That's for me the hardest part. Is like I can see if it's like maybe $500, $1,000. Okay, calm down, Chris. You going too far with this. But when we're saying millions of dollars that's being pulled together, then annually a couple $1 billion, come on, that's not chicken scratch. It's not chicken feed. That's a lot of money that can change lives, can do and present things for kids and opportunities for family members, and also again to help during hard times. But we never hear about that. We just hear about, oh, it's gonna get better in the after. Prosperity is up on you if you drop some more money. You saw this dude up here dancing on money. You know, you see them in there dancing it out, having a good time. It's to keep you in a sense of a state, your mind in a fog, and like you said, keeping your brain locked. And they don't want a society of thinkers, because thinkers are dangerous. When you start thinking outside the box, you're saying, hold on a second, I'm going to church and dumping all this money, my time and resources being put in this, and I'm not seeing nothing outside of this but some revivals and some chicken meals on Sunday, which was fire, by the way. Let's just keep it a book. Was fire, but when you start looking at this, like, man, this is like my time is being held hostage, my money is being held hostage. When are we gonna get to a point where we say enough is enough?
Right.
And I don't care if it's 10 people look at this, 100 people, 1 million people look at it. You got to start asking ourselves in the black community, when is enough enough? And they say, well, what are you guys doing about it? We need people that want to build. So we doing all this and saying all this, but at the end of the day, we want subscribers, we want likes, we want people to put comments in there and just truly say, like, hey, this is what we can do. We can start here in Missouri. We can start here in Missouri, the north side. We can go, north side, west side, south side.
Right.
And, even parts of North County, man, and start doing stuff, like-minded people. But until we start to call out the hypocrisy and the BS that's on in front of our face day in and day out, it's gonna be the same story, bro.
Yep,
I mean, what else?
totally agree.
What else do you want in these situations?
Well, that goes back to that question. What is the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing but expecting different results.
Outcome. Yeah.
When you know better, you do better. You're supposed to. Somebody said to me, you wasn't like this when I first met you, and you changed. And honestly, I took that as a compliment. Because I feel like that if after 20-something, almost 30 years of knowing a person, if you haven't changed in any way for the positive, then you're stagnant.
Facts.
Like literally, and then to me that's worse than you know what I'm saying, than moving backwards, because you're not learning anything.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Even when you move backwards or you have a down, you have to regress a little bit. Most of the time, once you regress, you learn from that mistake or whatever was the reason why you regressed. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but when you just standing there and you stuck in your own, your own world, your tunnel vision. Oh,
Facts.
like you said, I'm just gonna pray. I'm gonna pray. Yeah, but you ain't moving.
And
you're not
situation
doing anything.
Not changing
Right.
at all.
Right. No. So what good is? Even in the Bible, it tells you faith without works is dead. It says and that's another thing. Man, we finna have me go crazy on here. Like seriously, it's like a lot of the people that say that they're Christians, they don't even read their Bibles. You know what I'm saying? You don't, but you expect for somebody else to tell you, they'll give you the interpretation. Everybody can read you know what I'm saying? Everybody can read the same verse, but come up with some different interpretation depending on your life.
Facts.
So how is it that you can just sit back and just let somebody tell you what something means or how it?
To your point, if I can interject in that, the reason why is through a fear campaign. if you think about it, when we went to church, what was the number one thing they talking about? If you don't,
You're
you
going
don't
to
go-
hell.
Going to hell. Shoot, but if you kind of think about it, in some situations,
You already in hell.
You know, so I think they use the scare tactics. They target the black woman initially, and it's not a knock against the black woman. I know the black woman wants what's best for her family, but it's at the same time we just don't have any unity between black men and black women. That's what we need to start building there as well. We got to get to a point where they're preaching this hell and brimstone message, but you getting your tail whooped Monday through Saturday, that's part of your hell. And your situation is not changing. The church is not facilitating it. Like I said, we're accommodators now. And I had a conversation with my mom about this. I'm just like, there should be a disconnect between, church and state. And I know we're going to get into it in a little bit, but there should be a disconnect there. But when you think about it, the church is being pimped and pandered, all the way as well, because these folks come in, they tell all these lies. They all of a sudden got some blackness to them, or they got whatever else to them, and they want to exploit and put us on front stage.
But when do you hear that?
During election time.
There you go.
Election time.
There you go.
When they
Get to the polls.
Right.
Get to the polls.
Right.
We need your black vote, and then
Right.
when we get your black vote, we gonna forget about you.
Yep.
Come on,
And
man,
to,
that's ridiculous.
And to your point, on top of that, you kind of think about it. Even then, you get they assign these
Mickey
women.
Fins.
Yeah, they assign them and like, okay, you're gonna speak for the black community. We sit back and look at this stuff sometimes and like, these people ain't speaking on behalf of anything we got going on. Just go outside and look and see what's going on. What are you doing in a sense to help anything? Nothing. It just sounds good. It's PR. It's PR. Like, just come on out.
Public relations.
We here. We love the black church. We
Yeah,
love y'all.
we love the black community.
So,
But
I know
when was the last time you was in the black community though, outside of today? And the election is what, 2 months away?
And you ain't gonna hear from them after the election is over.
For 4 years. You gonna see them for 2 months, and then you ain't gonna hear from them again for 4 years.
Facts. And I mean that's frustrating, because you got good to do people that want to do right, want to see change the community, but it just is not gonna happen until we start holding these institutions accountable. Stop putting your money and resources into establishment that doesn't serve you any purpose. Like it's just like for you to keep dropping money in a car that keeps breaking down year after year. Why continue to invest in that when it's no return on the investment for you? The church treat it like a business. You need to treat your money and your resources, whether it's your money,
Treat you
time.
like a business.
Yeah.
They treat you like a business.
Facts.
They want they. That's why every Sunday they count the heads. You know what I'm saying? It's a business. Who came to work this Sunday? Who came to work this Sunday? Yeah, it's like man, the pimping and pandering is crazy. And it's not just the bad part about it. It's not just the government. You know what I'm saying? It's our own people.
It's
our own people. You know what I'm saying? Like I never understood this, and I still to this day I probably will never. To be an ordained minister, you have to go to theology school, right?
I think, yeah.
And what is theology?
Yes, your best.
It's from my understanding, I thought it was the study of religions.
Correct. It is.
Right. Okay. So if it's a study of religions, right?
Right.
And when you graduate, you studied all these religions. So
Right.
you done your paperwork and reading and research on all these religions, right?
Right.
So when you graduate and you come out and they give you this certificate and you smiling and everything, but now you believe that your particular religion is the correct religion.
Yeah, that's how a lot of them think.
And but you didn't study all these other religions, you know what I'm saying? Like, and just for out of some crazy situation, you feel like your particular belief is correct. I just don't understand it.
It makes sense though,
don't
because it's a way again to separate, cause division. I mean, you got to keep in mind
That's what religion is.
Yeah, to say that again is what?
That's what religion is. It's to cause division amongst the people. It's to keep us divided. Your boy Abraham Lincoln, he said, "A house divided cannot stand." You know what I'm saying? So if we as a people, if we're divided, I'm a 7-day Adventist, I'm a Catholic, I'm a Baptist, I'm a Protestant, I'm you know what I'm saying, a Muslim, I'm a Hindu or whatever. My belief is correct. It's not. It's about Buddha. It ain't about Jesus. It's about Muhammad. It ain't about Buddha. It's about, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Like, the whole thing. Or you listen to the message.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Listen to the message that these people said that they were bringing forth. You know, stop looking at the person and look at the message.
To your point, though, I mean, that's interesting that you say that, but when I think about it, at the end of the day, it all ties back to source. We worship these deities or these particular key figures, and that's just the end of it. When you think about it, we all, if you have a belief, then you have consciousness, you can see above it, you will see that in reality, it's all going to one source. It's just like you said, different interpretations on what's what, but at the end of the day, is that going to get you to where you need to be at?
Right.
So to my point, it kind of piggybacking off you, it's business. So as long as we can have people, whether, we'll get into some other stuff later down in future podcasts, but the division is necessary. As long as you got people saying my religion the best and this and this and this, that's fine. They got you right where they want you at. Because here's my thing. I used to always ask this question. Okay, I went to a Baptist church and everything, but you got these people over in India. They practice something different. So how am I gonna go to heaven? But they not. They don't practice the same thing. They in thought process they do. It's just a different source. But we so end up like they don't have the true knowledge of they gonna burn in hell. Everybody going to hell if that's the case.
My thing is that, what God are you? Do you have a heaven and hell to put somebody in? How do you know where a person is going to go?
Man.
Have you been to hell? Have you died and went to hell and came back and was like, Do you know somebody that died, went to hell and came back, or died and went to heaven and came back? Do you know any of these people?
Right.
Please, I would like to talk to somebody that if you died and went to hell or heaven and came back, please let me know. Like, I mean, seriously. I mean, it's as we were just saying, it's all division, and that's the biggest part of the pimping and pandering. That we as a people, man, it just, to me, it goes back to the slavery. You know what I'm saying? The Willie Lynch syndrome, man. It's like, as long as they can keep us divided, we'll never be united. We'll never build.
And to your point, just stacking on that, the Willie Lynch setup. I mean, it's operating to this day. Just take a second and reflect. Even if whoever may be listening, paying attention, just kind of reflect in your own life. Or you can think of, you got people that's divided. Oh, I'm better than you because I'm light-skinned. I'm better than you because I have this social economic status or whatever the case may be. I'm better than you because I went to this school. When I think of all that stuff at the end of the day, and I was kind of saying this, the biggest driver for the downfall, and unfortunately, the black community is not just being super religious and not thinking logic. I think a lot of it is too the worship of the golden calf, and that's been going on since the beginning of time, where we put money above everything.
Yep.
And that's why the church has become a cash cow. You don't see any benefits that's being reaped from it, because those people that's getting that money, they pocket it. Look at all these mega churches. Like what's the dude name?
Creflo?
Swallowed.
TD.
I want to be swallowed. He's swallowing up these people money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
amongst other things.
That's what. That's a whole other conversation.
No, but straight up, no, seriously, I understand.
But to that point, it's just like, this is a mega church, and you guys don't have some type of, structure for people, for the homeless, or be able to provide. But you got this big old mega church. When I think, for people that have read the Bible and kind of even know Yahshua's whole direction, and what he was doing, he went out into the world. He was around the bums, around the lepers, around the people that didn't have the hookers, the Jezebels, all the stuff that people frown down and look down upon. He was out there with them trying to push the message and help them, heal them, and get them on point. So if you following Yahshua's way, for people don't know who that is, people call him Jesus, but it's Joshua. That's the real
Hebrew
name, his real name. So when you kind of look at that, it just kind of makes you wonder, like, if he was practicing the way, why do we need these big old mega churches? Like, I can't think of the dude. I think his last name is Olsen. I think Olsen.
Joel Osteen.
I don't know if y'all remember when it was that flood that happened down there in Texas and stuff. Do you remember that? It was like people was losing their homes right and left. They had no place to stay. They straight came to this dude and was like, "Can you open up your church?" No. I want to open up my church. I ain't finna open my church for these bums, And
but them bums are the ones that pay for the church. Like, come on. Like, the pimping and pandering is real. Like, truly is real. And that is going to continue on going as long as we continue to stand in this same mindset. This same mind frame, man. If we continue to Then the old hand out, hands looking like cups. Then we ain't, we're never going to get anywhere. But if you use them same hands and do something to build and construct and form a freaking,
Right, that's crazy,
come on,
man.
like it's crazy. But you know that, and okay, so that's the thing that I want to do now. I want to start speak on what are some of the things that we can do to change this narrative.
Like I was saying before, I think it honestly starts, again, we're going to keep bringing this in on every episode, a grassroots movement. Like I said, we can start this. Like I said, people watch this, put comments in. We'll give you our contact information. You can reach out to us on all our platforms. We'll make sure to get it out there. We're going to start with a committee. We want to get a committee of folks that's like-minded, you know, that really, really want to see some change and be open. That's the biggest thing. We can't get in the room and everybody's up in arms because K may have said or Don may have said this and you don't necessarily agree. Well, we can agree to disagree on items, but the main goal is to see an impact in the community, see what we can work towards eradicating the homelessness, you know, work on building, planting fresh fruits and things of that nature, work on putting pressure on some of these politicians that's in this area that doesn't serve a purpose. And after we can start it here locally in Missouri, we can do this nationally as well. It's going to take some time, but it doesn't take a lot of people. That's what people think. You need like millions and millions of people. No, you don't. You just need strong people with an agenda to follow. So agendas for us is we want to start working on feeding homeless, having research packages for kids going to school. We want to have, setups where we can donate and give money to organizations that need it, to people that may need it, actual people. And then maybe, and build from there and have them spread the word and you spread the word to people around and we can start to do it. But we need our own land eventually. We're going to need our own land, but we can't do this by ourselves. It takes a strong-minded community to want to jump on board and do it. And I think that's what people are scared of. They be like, okay, you guys are saying what the problem is. We got to get together, start to actually build together. Quit being scared. None of us are getting young, any younger. So at what point are we going to say, I've tried it my way for all these 15, 20, 30 years and look at the result? Everything is still the same. So when are people going to say, hey, let's take a chance on Kay and Don? They seem like they pretty honest. I may not agree with everything they saying, but they want to see some change. Right. When have you heard the church say, hey, we're gonna start going out here every Saturday. We're going to start feeding the homeless on a consistent basis. We're going to start helping out Mother Vincent that don't have money to pay her rent or her air conditioner broke. You ain't hearing them type of stories on a consistent basis. That's what we need. That's what we need to start from. And start really holding these politicians accountable, bro.
I agree. With that being said, also, if there's anyone out there that's watching or listening now live or streaming it, and you have any information on where we can go to buy lots in St. Louis, in particular just lots. I would prefer lots without a building on it. But even with that, if there is any way, please shoot it into the comments, and we'll respond. Like my brother said, I'll put my contact information in the description. And like literally, bro. So that's one way that we're looking to start to change the things that are going on, the problems with our community is by first getting some land, growing our own food. At some point in time, like you said, starting making a gym or a park, to give our children some place to go, somewhere safe to go, some safe things to do. They say that idle hands are the devil's workshop.
Absolutely.
So and they're constantly taking away all of our recreation centers, and they're defunding our recreation centers. They taking the roads and everything. There's really nothing to do anymore. You might have a few parks, you know what I'm saying, in select neighborhoods.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But the where the parks should be, where the most crime and stuff is not there, they're not there. And that's the reason why they have a lot of crime, because if you don't have anything to do, then you're going to find something to do. Absolutely. And a lot of times what you find to do is not productive.
Absolutely.
When we were growing up, bro, we had Tannies, we had the Woes, we had 12th and Park, you know what I'm saying? All different places, you know what I'm saying? They had swimming pools, boxing, track, football, basketball, baseball, you know what I'm saying? All these different things to keep you, you know what I'm saying, active. And it wasn't, it was, and not to say that we didn't have crime back then, we did. The thing was, the crime rate wasn't as high as it is today. And then we looking at it, and you look at it now. A lot of the crimes that's happening now, the ages are going lower and lower.
Yep.
You know, I was cutting her. I apologize. I'll let you go back. I'll let you get to it. But I was leaving one of my clients' house yesterday for my mobile barbering, and seen like 5 or 6 little dudes. Like couldn't have been no more. I say ranging from 10 maybe like 15. All of them got the little man purses in her and walking with their hand in it.
Clutching.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And these are little like if you you looking like, man, this is a baby. You know what I'm saying? But you got to think that baby might pop your butt. You know what I'm saying? And that's the things that we have to give these children and give other, not just our children. We have to have grown adults to be able to come in and teach them certain, you know what I'm saying? Teach them ways. You know what I'm saying? The correct way of doing things. You know, we have to be black men and black women, you know, adult men and women, and be able to start talking and guiding our youth. Because if we don't, man, it's going to get worse.
It's only getting worse. And then you know, think about it. You know, at some point in time, we love to get, you know, Auntie Curly and Mom on here at some point in time, because my mom ran a daycare for 20 plus years, and some of the horror stories she would tell me, I honestly want to bring her on at some time in the future to kind of give a breakdown of how the system is, like you said, the defunding part of it, and how they're making things so hard for those daycare owners to even do stuff, because they're not paying them.
Right.
Like my mom said, her daycare is closed down. She still hasn't got payment for 2 months. 2 months, but you expecting to pay the employees and provide care for these kids and stuff. So when you think about this stuff holistically, I think the biggest problem is that we just don't have true defined structure, and we don't have people stepping up and saying, hey, we have to go a different route. This plan has not worked for us since I've been born. I'm getting old as dirt, and all the people I know that just followed before the process, it hasn't worked. So I mean, we got some other clips we're gonna look at, but just again, tap in with us, man. Like and subscribe, you know, comment. Comment, and like I said again, we not gonna take it as personal, because you can have your views and say what you want to say, but just look at the current state of things. Look at how our community looks right now,
and be honest with yourself. Don't just look at it through a
biased lens.
Yeah, you know, tunnel vision. You know, actually step back and see the big picture.
Right.
You know, and again, it's not just the church that's pimping and pandering us.
At all. Let's get to it.
Can y'all hear me? Yo. I've spoken before parliaments, kings, queens, leaders of the world. I've been doing this for a long time. But this is intimidating following. Y'all are incredible. And let's lay one thing to rest. I may be a practicing Catholic. I used to go to 7:30 Mass every morning in high school and then in college before I went to the black church. Not a joke. Andy knows this. Andy and I took on apartheid in South Africa and a whole lot else. They didn't want to see him coming. That's where we'd organize to march or to segregate the city. My state was, like yours, segregated by law. We were a slave state, to our great shame. Look at what they value and look at their budget and what they're proposing. Romney wants to he said in the first 100 days, he's going to let the big banks once again write their own rules. Unchain Wall Street. They're going to put you all back in chains.
Are you going to apologize like Cory Booker
Apologize for what?
Cory Booker's called for it.
Cory should apologize. He knows better. There's not a racist bone in my body. I've been involved in civil rights my whole career.
You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent. I'm not joking.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
So there are no poor white kids?
Say it again?
So there are no poor white kids? The poor kids are just as talented as white kids.
According to him?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what I took out of it out of that statement.
So I want to shoot you some fun facts about this dude. So we talking again about pimping and pandering, that the church is doing their part, but we also got the government that's doing their part from the highest level all the way down to your local officials, year in and year out. So check this out. Facts. This stuff you can look up for yourself. Biden was one of the ones who was responsible for the mass incarceration policies. His 1980s, 1990s, authoring the 1994 crime bill, which decimated black communities. This is the dude that fought against segregation over in South Africa, like he just said, which is a fallacy. You got to keep it as Biden authorized the legislation which sentenced Alice Johnson to life imprisonment for a first-time drug offense. So this dude, wrong, right, and different, made an offense that gave this man life.
For the first time.
First time. Another fun fact about this dude. Biden worked with segregationist Senator Strom Thurmond. Strom Thurmond was one of the biggest, and if you don't know who he is, you can go look him up, one of the biggest segregationists, a known racist, a Nazi, all the above.
Oh, yeah.
And this is the scary part about it. Biden did a eulogy for this dude when he died and other separatists or whatever. So when I hear this dude on here talking about how he's fought hand in hand to free people and to end this over in South Africa, you didn't do nothing over here but enchain the folks over here. So how does that make sense? And again, you saw that he was up in where? He was in the church.
Yeah.
And these people all in there, he ha and he's flattering them, saying what, telling them what they want to hear. But the whole time, this dude history has been nothing but a policy that devastates the black community, keep people locked up, first time offenders locked up for a drug. That's not even a violent crime. You send somebody to life for that, like they can't be rehabilitated. But when I look at these policies, this dude, his history, and this is our current president, his history has never served black people well in any scenario. You can't name one, and the arrogance of them. Like I've heard comments where he said to the one little goofy dude, Charlamagne the guy, gonna tell him, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. Like the audacity for you to say that to somebody, it couldn't have been me. If you said that to me, I'd been like, I'm not voting for you since you want to know.
Right.
But again, here's an example where he going up in the church, flattery, pimping and pandering, doing his thing, and saying how he's always been, working to free and make things better for black people, which is a lie. It's an outright lie. But he's sitting up in and if I'm not mistaken, I think that was MLK's church where he was up in.
He was doing that. Yeah, it was for that. I think it's for his celebration of his birthday.
So, I mean, just from my perspective, it's stuff like this that if you have eyes to see and ears to hear,
let them hear.
Yeah, and I mean, I just don't understand why at this stage and point in life where people are still saying, oh, I'm going to vote Democrat, I'm going to vote Republican, all that. Man, it's the same bird
just
with different wings.
Yep.
Just think of a bird. At the end of the day, they got the same calls, and they're going to fly you down that same path, just different wings. And people can't decipher that. We need independent, and what I mean by independent is not tied into the Republican or the Democratic Party that can speak for themselves, but not going too deep into it, because I know you got a lot to say about it as well. We got to have people that's not going to be bought. You got a lot of these politicians that come in, they get their taste, one of these, these big donors, they give them $100,000, $200,000, $300,000. They're going to start to sway and go down the pipeline of daddy. And daddy is the one that's dropping that bag, for them.
Greasing them palms.
Yeah, greasing them palms. So we got to have people, and we don't have anywhere where people can go and get insight and information on these people, these judges, these politicians in your local areas. We don't. Where do we get this information from? It's just a little ad. Chris is a staunch Democrat. He's done this for the community. You don't know if I did anything.
Right.
So we got to get out of the point. We need to get to a point we start doing our research, start going in and looking at these candidates. We need to start
holding them accountable.
Yeah.
Holding them accountable. If you want our vote, then you have to make, you know what I'm saying? You have to make sure that you treat us with the same respect after the election that you're doing before the election.
But that's never been their history, though.
I understand.
On any stance, it's never been the history. The history is tell us what you want to hear, which is again the title, Pimping and Pandering. I'm going to tell you what you want to hear, make it sound good, get you all energized. They're gonna target the black woman, because the black woman pretty much leads a lot of the households. Get her on board. Get her out here. Oh, y'all need to make sure that y'all vote for Biden. Make sure you vote for Camilla. And the whole time, these people don't even have your same views. What is it why would Biden be aligned with anything we got going on? Why would Camilla be aligned with anything that we got going? Why?
Great question. When has a slave master ever helped a slave? I'll wait.
How much time you got, buddy?
I'll wait. I want to know. I've never known the slave master to help the slave. You know what I'm saying? Literally. And the way things are now, the government is a slave master, and we are the slaves.
Facts.
You know. But people were saying, back when the COVID, hey, oh man, I can't wait to get this 600. I can't wait to get this 800. And I was telling people, man, how many times you think they finna do this?
Right.
You know, like, do you honestly think that they finna keep just giving you money?
Yep.
Only reason why they did it was because the whole country was shut down. Nobody could work, so there was no money flowing through the system.
Facts.
So they knew that if they 9 times out of 10, you give a bunch of motherfuckers that ain't got nothing, something, they gonna spend it frivolously. People went out and bought cars and put down payments on cars that they know they couldn't afford. 3 months later, that mother getting beep, 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 beep. You buying TVs and freaking TVs and stereo systems and all that junk, but you can't pay your rent. So what good is a TV or you can't pay your electric? What good is a TV if you can't use it? What good is a TV if you don't have a house to put it in? It doesn't make sense. You know, I don't understand the way that we think. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's so, and they use us, man. Like we all like blind sheep, bro. Sheeple. That's who we are. Sheeple. Motherfuckers whatever the first thing that they tickle their ears. Bull spit, man. Step back and think about it. Why would they do that? To put the money back in there. They knew first motherfuckers gonna go right to Target or Wally World. You know what I'm saying? Right. You know, the Cadillac dealer. You know what I'm saying? like, come on. You know what I'm saying? But you ain't going to work. You ain't been to work in 8 months. You don't even know if you have a job when when it's time to open back up. Right. You know, but you wanna put a down payment on the car, the $800 a month car. And that's just the car note. That ain't even talking about the rent. I mean, the insurance.
Facts.
And getting it registered. You know what I'm saying? Like, people, I don't understand, man. When I got my money, I got me a new barber chair, got me some new clippers. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I spent mine wise because my money made me money. I guarantee you.
Well, I think to your point, which is interesting though, is that again, it's all going. What we're trying to do is just kind of pull it all together. You look at this, you see the progression of the pimping and pandering. You see the church is like front line for the black community in doing that. The government slides right in on top of that, and they help to kind of keep this motion going. And you look at it, and you say, well, you guys just saying this, but what's the proof? Here's the proof in the pudding. Why is it that most people? We'll get to this in a later session, but just a food for thought. Why is it that rent is so high? Why is everything so expensive here for you to buy just your local groceries? Why is everything so high? A great example of it is the government, the same ones that came down to the black church and said, yo, what they doing is taking your tax dollars and they throwing that over to this war in Ukraine. This war in Ukraine been going on for some time now.
Been
Let me tell you
milking
something.
a whole lot of money.
And the scary thing about it, they've been dumping millions upon millions upon millions upon millions of dollars consistently, and nobody said a word. We got people over here again, they're struggling. So here's the sad thing about it, the black church ain't really stepping up and helping the people in the community. The government coming in line and say what they're gonna do and don't do nothing. They're not providing any type of relief for people. Cost of living increases, all that fun stuff. It's just business as usual. While that money is going over to Ukraine and over to Israel to help fund that war.
Okay, I just pulled this up. As of April 2024, the U.S. has sent Ukraine around $111 billion in aid, including military, economic, and humanitarian support. This includes over $60 billion in funding and equipment, and more than $43 billion in security assistance since February 2022. So in 2 years, from February 22 to April 24, we've sent them $113 billion.
Say it again.
$113 billion in aid. Now, why couldn't we use that money to aid our homes, the wars that we have in here, the war on freaking people just randomly shooting and killing people, and nobody gets blamed or nobody gets the cost. It's crazy. Well, man,
You said
I
what's the
never know.
amount again?
113 billion.
So 113 billion, and you mean to tell me that none of those resources are hitting the black community? That's why this is example. So again, he just thrown it out to you. This is billions. We talking about the black church, billions annually. The government, billions that they're sending across everywhere. And like I said, we ain't gonna dive into it because we got some other clips we're gonna do. But just let you know, in some of the future ones, we gonna even speak to the fact of like this whole situation with the people crossing the border.
Yep.
We'll talk about that later. So it's just levels to the fact that they continue to just disrespect us, and we continue to follow the same blueprint and the same game plan that hasn't provided any fruits for us at all. What do we have to show for it?
Well, this next clip is called, I ain't gonna lie, it kind of blew me away, but it's the truth, you know.
All right, let's check it out.
I do not believe you are a racist. But I also believe, and it's personal, and I was actually it was hurtful to hear you talk about the reputations of two United States senators who built their reputations and career on the segregation of race in this country. And it was not only that, but you also worked with them to oppose busing. Vice President Biden, do you agree today that you were wrong to oppose busing in America? Of states to integrate public schools in America. I was part of the second class to integrate Berkeley, California public schools almost 2 decades after Brown v. Board of Education.
I believe you that you're fully supportive of him. How does that transition happen? How do you go from being such a passionate opponent on such bedrock principles for you, and now you guys seem to be pals?
It was a debate.
Not everybody landed punches like you did, though.
It was a debate.
So you don't mean it?
It was a debate.
Shucking and jiving.
Say it again.
Shucking and driving. That's amazing. Seeing that, like, this goes back to what we were saying as far as like the pimping and pandering. How like they use our own people to manipulate us. Do you know what I'm saying? To conform or to have us go one way or the other. And it doesn't make sense. That just like this clip was showing earlier when she was speaking about her being the second class of the for the the
supportive education
for desegregation. She had straight passion in her face and in her tone. And then but now after she was elected to be vice president, or you know what I'm saying, it was a debate. Yeah, okay, we all understand that. With that being said, you have vital points in that debate. So now that the debate is over, you no longer feel that way. You no longer that passionate about it.
Bingo.
You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, it doesn't make sense. And we just sheeple, man. We follow, and it doesn't matter. As long as it tickle our fancy, we follow. We go. We go that direction. It doesn't make sense. We have to at some point in time step back, man, and just look at it. Look at the big picture. Stop being so, like my brother said, so afraid to be who you are. Be unique. Even if you in a room and you the only one that think like you do, be happy with that. Because most of the time when everyone that follows it, follows around, you going in the circle. You following the same person. You following them, they following you, and just because y'all like-minded. That doesn't make sense. Where does the progression come from? What is the knowledge? If everybody thinks the same, then how you ever learn?
Yeah. I mean, for me, just looking at that clip, she was passionate about it, and me and you know it very well because we were products of the board versus, the board.
We were the first ones to get sent out there.
So we got shipped out there through, trying to desegregate these schools, whatever. And what I find interesting about it is that people still voted for this dude. If they did any research and saw his track record from the crime bills, him being in bed, these is buddies with segregations that clearly state. And he's even had a racist comment. We said something about he don't want black kids going to school to be like a jungle or something like that. So even with him, his whole message since the beginning of time has never been to advocate for black people. But again, we've been speaking about this and just showing you there's just more and more levels of them telling us what we want to hear and doing something different, but because we're not doing our deep dives and research to kind of see what kind of individuals they are and how they cause trauma and hurt and help to do damage. Like talking about Camilla, she do a lot of pimping and pandering as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like if anybody know about her when she was she thinks she was DA or whatever she was out there in California. They had one of the highest incarceration rates for black people for like minimum like drug charges. Like
it wasn't one of, it was the highest.
Whoa, so
the highest.
So to your point, one of the highest, and the sad thing about it is, you know, when it's convenient for these folks, they'll hop on and be like, "Oh, I'm black, so you can identify with me." That doesn't just give you automatic, you know, entry into the door to start speaking for us or trying to do, and they don't. They typically don't. It just sounds good, and it's, again, PR stunts. But we live in a world where everything, it's got to be politically correct. If you say something different, you're a madman, you're psychotic, you're dumb, you're stupid, you're all this other stuff. But just look at the bare facts. So I would instruct folks that, you know, if you're already doing this, kudos to you, but start picking up books and reading different things. I mean, there's a ton of books. We can throw some stuff out there for folks if they want to, you know, just some good books to read. But there's a lot of information out here. And typically, when the book is worth something or has a lot of good information, the price on the book is going to probably be $100 or more. Because most people are not going to spend money on a book that's $100 or more. They rather spend it on some Jordans. They rather spend it on some anything else other than that. So as long as we keep that same mind frame of, again, of status of what outfit I may have or what clothes I may have and all this, instead of getting your brain actually washed and getting your brain actually stimulated to start thinking outside of the norm. This whole situation are just designed to keep us in a status where we continue to walk like zombies. You know, they got all this stuff going on. Think about it. We showing you guys point blank the BS. But here's another thing. They also got their television and telling that lie. They also got their cell phone that's keeping you locked in and trapped into the BS that's going on there. But the whole time, the government is continuing to do what they do, continue to set policies in place to disenfranchise everybody in the community. And nobody's ever talking about that. And for the ones that are talking about it, they make jokes of them. They bash them. You know, they say all this negative stuff about them, and these people want to build. That's all we want to do. So I'm going to restate it yet again. We giving y'all examples. We want to build with like-minded people. If you don't, continue down your merry way and see how far that gets you. But if we know there's a way to see some change, why not push for it?
So I agree. I totally agree.
So,
you know, and we'll take this time. I want to give a shout out to My City, My Music Studios.
Absolutely.
Thank you for allowing us to use your platform. I also want to give a shout out to VJ Keys and Interstellar Music for giving us the intro, for allowing us to use his song on the intro. Also, VJ Keys, go stream Yeehaw, VJ Keys. I guarantee you, we gonna play some of it at the end of it. But I guarantee you, it's hot. It's hot. So go stream it. You know, like and subscribe him. He's on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, every platform. I mean, he's everywhere. So that's VJ Keys, Kuys.
Yeah. So I know we gonna try to wrap this up or whatever, but
that was it.
All right. So.
Yeah. So again, we appreciate you all watching and listening. We'll see you all next week with another episode of Keys to Consciousness. I'm your host, Don.
And I'm your other host, Chris. You guys have a phenomenal Sunday. We'll catch up with y'all later.
Conceited and restless. Mustang is on me, can't ride in no Teslas. Gripping the clutch, I don't know how to rest it. So I'm on go, you can't hear the perfection. Yes, dance to this beat is infected. Can't hear nobody when I get to stepping. Party look dead, might as well resurrect it. Came with a plan, so you gon' hear my message. Yes, you was a long way from home, so why don't you two-step your ass to this?